On Monday this week, Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon announced a second independence referendum. If granted by Westminster, she hopes to hold it between autumn 2018 and spring 2019. A Scottish independence referendum was held only 2.5 years ago, but she insists that there have been material changes in circumstances and that the Scottish people should be granted another vote on whether they remain in a Brexit Britain or they become an independent country. Should Scotland be an independent country? That was the question that the Scottish people were asked over 2 years ago on September 2014. A question that sparked one of the most ardent debates in Scottish history, but also a question, many say, that should have remained unasked for at least another generation.
I think it's a bit silly because we wouldn't be having another referendum if we'd said yes. So I feel like there's no point in trying again when the answer was no the first time. I don't think it's going to change too much.
It's just I think people are going to vote with their heads, with their hearts, not with their heads, which is not good because they're going to be a bit drawn towards the fact that independence is going to probably be an even bigger option.
I recently did a survey that was asking me how I would feel about studying here if Scotland was independent. I really think they've probably thought it through, so I think it's good. They've had a lot of disagreements, and I think Brexit brought out everything.
I was really, really happy to hear Nicola Sturgeon's speech, and the only thing that's made me a little bit wary about it is Theresa May saying that it's very bad timing and is trying to block it. So in my mind, if Theresa May decides to block it, it should be a unilateral declaration of independence, and they shouldn't be given a choice. It should just go straight to a referendum, the same way that Catalonia done recently.
Yes, under Section 30, the UK government could prevent a referendum, and it will dictate the terms. It will dictate the question and the timing of the referendum. And if that then is unfavourable to the Scottish government, they may try to push ahead with a referendum in any case. And whether or not the Scottish government has power to do so is debatable. But it would have political will almost certainly to do so, so it would likely hold a referendum. The problem then, if a Section 30 is not granted, then that's a very risky situation for the Scottish Government to proceed with, because the outcome of the referendum will then be open to far greater scrutiny, and at the end of the day, the legality of the referendum is not what will decide its outcome, it's the politics surrounding it. And to push ahead with a referendum without Section 30, we could have the referendum, the outcome could be yes, and then we could enter this debate and legal and political nightmare.
The latest Scottish Social Attitude Survey reveals that support for independence is the highest it has ever been. However, although Nicola Sturgeon asserts that she wants to hold an independence referendum in order to keep Scotland from being dragged out of the European Union, there is no certainty that Scotland will gain a continued membership in the single market before it has become an independent country. During the next few months, we will get to know the response to these questions in what we expect will be a tug of war between Westminster and the Scottish Parliament.
A seamless membership of the bloc is not going to be possible, and the Scottish Government will have to pursue the application process as a candidate state for EU accession. However, there's been other reports about about EU officials wanting to accelerate Scottish membership. And I think it's important not to underestimate the amount of political will and political support behind Scotland's membership within the EU at the moment. And Alan Smith, the SNP MEP, and others have done a lot of work in gaining that momentum and gaining support for Scotland's membership within the EU. So we're now in a different dialogue with EU now after the Brexit referendum.